Dear students, welcome back to one more session. Today in this session I am going to explain you about the concept of applications of QT in business. Everything in this universe that the human being acquires the knowledge, it is applicable somewhere in his entire life. If the knowledge is not applicable anywhere, such a knowledge is not at all useful. So now coming to the QT also, the quantitative techniques, they play a vital role in the business. Business is meaningless without the quantitative techniques. So every business organization must and should follow the quantitative techniques in practical. So let me explain you how a business organization applies the quantitative techniques. The most commonly used quantitative techniques in the business are linear programming and the time series. These two are the most common quantitative techniques that every business organization is going to be adopting. So why do we have these two types of the quantitative techniques? The main intention is to make the decision. For a good decision, there should be proper estimation of quantitative techniques. Now let me tell you how the process of decision takes place in any business. So if you have seen this procedure, it's the actual process of decision making. Decision of a business should not be blindly taken. It should be logical and it should be reasonable. Why? Because a business organization, it invests a lot of money in order to make the profits. Even if a small mistake that the business organization does, it matters a lot of loss. So that's why the business organization should be very careful before taking any decision. Now let me tell you what is the first step of decision making in business. First, you will be collecting the data. Okay, this is the first step. What do? You will be collecting the data. This data will be available both the primary as well as secondary. Primary means you are going to collect the data directly from the people. That means you will be speaking to the organization members like employees, labor, salespeople, distributors, agents, and many more, like the manager, CEO, and the management. So after that, the secondary type is secondary data. What is secondary data? The written documentation. That means here you are going to collect the data in the form of written documentation. Example, company books, company records, as well as the daily records and newspapers, Google, websites, social media, etc. So, however, the data will be collected. After the collection of the data, the second step is gathering information. There is a lot of difference in between the data and the gathering of information. Information is separate and data is separate. Data means all the stuff whichever you collect, but information is the most important part of data. That means in the data you do not need few of the content. So then you are going to eliminate that content and finally whatever the important content is required, that is going to be studied. Then such a matter is called as information. From the data, you are going to plan the information. After planning the information, what do? You will apply the theories of QT. That means either linear programming or else the time series methods you will be applying here. After applying, you will be analyzing the result. That means after application, you will study whether this application of technique is useful or not, right? And after the analysis, you will come to know whether this is effective or failed. If the method, whatever you have applied, is effective in the sense good in result and also useful, then what do? You will repeat the same technique again and again. And finally, this procedure is going to be repetitively taking place. And in case, another thing, after the analysis, if the technique is failed, that means there is no good result, there is a bad result and it is not useful, then what do? You will be definitely omitting that. Omitting in the sense you will eliminate. Next time you are not going to apply the same procedure. And there will be the end of that procedure. So this is called as the process of decision making. First you will be collecting the data. From the data you will take whatever the information is necessary. And the third one is applying the QT. After applying the QT, you will come to know what exactly the result it is. If the result is good and useful, you will repeat it again. If the result is not good and not useful, then you are going to omit. Omit in the sense you are going to eliminate or avoid. So this is what exactly the process of application in business. What do you apply here? Quantitative techniques.